Hello, everybody. Welcome to this Monday edition of Tip Off. Bowler Jack's going to be in on Bowler Jack, Locke, and Gerard today. So this is my chance to kind of chat with you a little bit about what things are going on. Hope you had a great weekend, good Easter weekend. We did the massive Easter egg hunt. I hid things here and there. It's one point we hid 60 fake eggs, thank goodness, because we did find all of them inside the house for the kids. That took them about 45 minutes, and we did an outside Easter egg hunt and went over to friends. Did it all. So I hope everybody had a good weekend with the family. Here's what we're going to do on tip-off today. I spent the weekend watching just an inordinate amount of basketball, and we'll talk about some of the NBA playoff stuff. Just some great stories, amazing performances. It's so strong. But the real thing I spent a lot of time on, I think you're interested. I started my scouting of the college players. What I love about this is the first guy is a kid that's projected right around between 6 and 12. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. It's Jan. I think it's pronounced Jan. I'm not sure. It's Vesely, but it's got a little umla or something on the end of it. So it's Vesely or Vesely. I don't even know. I turned down the volume on the announcers because they're speaking a foreign language, and I watched him. I have about a 3-page write-up that will go up on Locked on Jazz, and I'll have that for you. The thing that jumped out to me the most about it, maybe more so than anything else, was here's this 20-year-old kid. He turned 21 yesterday. And he is going up against Flip Murray and Nathan Jawa and there were 2 or 3 other NBA players. Bastian Nachbar was he's a tough mother, man. He is tough. And here's this I'm evaluating this 20-year-old kid going up against 32, 33-year-old pros and veterans. In contrast to watching like Kemba Walker or Jimmer Fredette, who are 22-year-old kids going up against 19-year-old babies. See, I'm watching this Vesely or Jan or whatever, JV or whatever we want to call him, and I'm thinking to myself, if he's in the college game, he's killing people, isn't he? And yet in this game, he really looks like just one of the players. He doesn't wow you. He didn't overwhelm me. He had 1 or 2 plays that were pretty fabulous in the 2 games that I watched. But he's not dropping 20. He's scoring like 10 points a game, but he's playing in the European League against the big boys. I mean, Flip Murray at one point. So here's the basic take on this kid. He's 6'11". They list him. I'm not sure he really is. He plays the small forward. He's very, very long. I think best case scenario he's like Detlef Schrempf. Some people think he's Karolinko Light. I don't see that. I'm having a really hard time figuring out who he is in the NBA, and there are some real concerns on him. The concern is the 6'10", 6'11", trying to play the 3 and having to defend it, though he does seem to move pretty well. He's a really good athlete. He plays a ton above the rim. They alley-oop to him all the time. Flashes to the rack a ton. His free throw shooting is abysmal. He doesn't have great hands. I saw him drop too many balls for my liking. And he doesn't shoot a great percentage, though it looks good. And so my worry on him is if he doesn't have touch, it doesn't matter. Kwame Brown didn't have touch, and Kwame Brown couldn't play in the league. If you don't have touch, Emeka Okafor has no touch. He will never become an offensive player. So that's the concern on this guy, but he's a pretty darn good athlete. He's going to play in the NBA, and I'm just not entirely sure. But I will say there are things about him I really, really liked. And some are simple. He plays inside the system. He bypasses shots, and maybe this is because he's 20. There are multiple times where he gets the ball in the wing and he enters into the post back-to-back times. And he fist clinches a few times when a teammate makes a shot. He got taken out of a close game with 3 minutes left, and he's regging up the crowd to get the crowd into it. So there's a bunch of things I really like about him. In his attitude and his approach, he seems to play the game to win, seems to be pretty passionate about it. His skill set, just natural skill set, is sick. Here's a play that I write about in the scouting report, which will be up on Locked on Jazz, which was just ridiculous. He catches the ball on the right wing. He's free throw line extended behind the three-point line. You got where he is? A guy comes to set a pick, which is going to on his left side, so he's going to take a left-hand dribble to the middle of the lane. Instead, he takes one dribble, and gets to the rack for a thunderous jam. One dribble from free throw line extended behind the three-point line. That's an NBA skill. You can't replicate that. Guys don't have that. He's 6'11". He packed it. So that's pretty fabulous. And if he gets strength, and he tries to post up, and I have yet to see him finish on a post up, he's just lacking some strength. But it's it's not as though he's not athletic. I like him. If the Jazz draft him, and particularly if the Jazz got him at 12, I would be really very ecstatic. Particularly for this draft, they may have to pull the trigger on him at 6, though. And I don't know if he's a guy you decide you love, but he's definitely interesting. I know the Jazz did fly out to scout him a little bit recently, so it's an interesting case. The general consensus I have on him, he's tough. I think he's a really fabulous athlete. Goes high up for alley-oop dunks, plays above the rim. That play I just talked to you about. There's another play where he caught on the left side, just one quick power dribble, boom. So he's got some amazing skills. If he can defend, then he's a pretty fabulous player. I have a hard time envisioning how this 6'10 long kid's going to be able to defend threes in the NBA, but maybe his length and athleticism will allow him to do it. So that's a quick take. I'll write up a larger thing for you on Locked on Jazz. Playoffs have been somewhat stunning. There's just no question that this is a star-driven league. And when Brandon Roy returned as a star, Portland looked great. Chris Paul was amazing last night. That was one of the best performances I have seen from an individual player. And that's where everybody thought Chris Paul's better than Deron Williams all this time, because he just has these kind of games, and people see that. It's pretty hard to overcome looking at that. The other one that's just interesting is Miami again, late game. Now, I think Philadelphia just hit a bunch of shots, but it's too hard to overcome the fact, and this was floated out there today, that in the last 5 minutes of games this year, the Bulls are plus 162 and Miami is minus 32. And that is just really hard to ignore here in this process, is watching them in late games. Now, I think the series, the Eastern Conference is going to be determined by how Miami deals with losses. Not the loss to Philadelphia, that doesn't matter, but how they deal with a loss to the likes of Boston in the second round when they get there, and whether they combust, and whether LeBron holds it together, and whether the pressure of what they've built gets to them or not. So those, to me, that's what will tell the Eastern Conference. The Western Conference is wild. Oklahoma City looks like the best team right now. Memphis is really giving San Antonio fits, and tonight's game is enormous. Kobe looks awful. There's no other way to say it. I thought Kobe probably left that game as humiliated as he's been. Now he's hurt. And he's at an age right now and a level of his game where he can't afford to play hurt. And it's funny. Last year the debate was, is he or LeBron the best player in the league? This year if you put up first-team guards, they're Derrick Rose and Dwayne Wade, followed by Russell Westbrook and probably Kobe Bryant. But Chris Paul was better than he was last night. I mean, you just begin to wonder on the guards, where does Kobe rank now? Is he 5? Is he 6? Is he 3? What is he? I don't want to discount what he's giving everyone, but to me, he's just not the same guy. He's not blowing people by people on the dribble. And even before the injury, the telling play to me, Chris Paul up top, crossed him over, just blew by him to the rack. That's where they started their little talking back and forth. But Kobe was just a dead duck on that play, and to me, that was the most telling of all. All right, hope that was good for you. And probably not great, but hopefully all right. So that's a quick tip-off. I'll write up the Jan Vesley or whatever it is report for you. I'm going to watch a little bit more of one of his other games I have, and then I'll have that report up for you at Locked on Jazz today. You can get more into it. We'll be covering the draft heavy, and I will be in Newark, New Jersey with the draft on June 23rd. Follow me on Facebook, Locked on Sports. Follow me on Twitter, Locked on Sports as well. Have a good one. See ya. Bye, YouTube people. See ya. I'll be on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday this week, by the way. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday on the radio.